Behind our drywall and beneath our streets, an invisible crisis is gathering pressure. The complex network of pipes keeping our homes dry and our cities functioning is running out of the one resource it actually needs to survive: human hands to maintain it. This chart shows the widening gap between our available labor supply and our skyrocketing infrastructure demand. As the supply line drops, the deficit hits a staggering 550,000 missing plumbers across the United States. We are losing tradespeople faster than we can replace them. The legacy plumbing workforce is rapidly reaching retirement age, and an unusually high rate of turnover among younger recruits means fewer professionals are sticking around long enough to master the trade. While the labor pool shrinks, the workload is expanding. A massive influx of federal infrastructure money is flowing into cities, mandating sweeping, labor-intensive overhauls of municipal water lines coast to coast. Add to that a wave of strict new environmental regulations. Communities are now required to conduct extensive testing for lead and install specialized filtration systems for PFAS, commonly known as forever chemicals, driving up the need for service calls even further. This donut chart illustrates the severe pressure on plumbing contractors. Notice this highlighted segment. 14% are entirely booked up, actively rejecting new work. The economic consequence falls on consumers. This massive 74% segment represents businesses that significantly raised prices recently. Between the retiring workforce, federal backlogs, and completely booked schedules, securing a trained professional to fix a domestic pipe today is highly expensive. Even finding a master plumber with availability is becoming mathematically improbable. In highly competitive markets, plumbing wages are rising 10 to 15% annually to attract scarce talent. To offset these soaring labor costs, the industry is turning to automated technology to do the heavy lifting. Baseline monitoring and routine diagnostics, tasks that historically required a site visit and an hourly rate, are being aggressively outsourced to digital sensors that work around the clock without supervision. Manufacturers are rapidly rolling out Wi-Fi-enabled water heaters and automated app-based leak detection systems that alert homeowners to pressure drops long before a basement floods. This graph tracks the financial footprint of those digital tools. As you can see by this sharp upward trend line, the global smart water market has exploded, reaching a $50 billion valuation. The strategy has shifted from repairing isolated breaks to installing complex, self-monitoring water ecosystems. These networks are specifically engineered to mitigate the lack of available human technicians. The transition goes beyond digital sensors. The literal physical materials used to carry water are evolving to bypass the need for highly specialized tradespeople. The industry is rapidly moving away from rigid traditional metals like copper and galvanized steel. In their place, contractors are laying down flexible plastic tubing known as PEX, along with a suite of modern, corrosion-resistant push-to-connect fittings. This material shift solves two major problems at once. It answers the consumer demand for leak prevention and lower water consumption, while providing desperate contractors with materials designed for rapid, nearly foolproof installation. Sweating a traditional copper joint with a blowtorch requires years of apprenticeship to perfect without causing a leak or starting a fire. Snapping together a flexible PEX connection takes a fraction of the time and almost zero specialized skill. To keep pace with the massive backlog of work, manufacturers are intentionally simplifying the physical infrastructure. They are guaranteeing that complex domestic water systems can be assembled reliably, even when a master plumber isn't on the job site. With professionals booked out for weeks and charging premium rates, the burden of emergency maintenance inevitably falls directly on the homeowner. Rising public anxiety over local water quality, specifically concerning lead exposure and PFAS chemicals, is creating an urgency to upgrade home filtration. Armed with these new, easier-to-install plastic materials, regular people are attempting the retrofits themselves. Before cutting into their main water lines, these desperate homeowners are flooding video platforms, searching for highly specific, step-by-step instructional content. This demand has birthed the modern ride-along. 30-year veteran tradespeople are mounting cameras in crawl spaces, broadcasting real, messy jobs to train the general public. This graph plots the subscriber growth for one of these authentic pro-plumber channels. Over a tight 18-month timeline, the audience spikes from 0 to 1.3 million followers. These massive audiences aren't tuning in for casual weekend entertainment. They are treating these videos as mandatory reference material, pulled up on a smartphone in a flooded basement when something catastrophically breaks. The massive labor deficit, inflated prices, booked-out schedules, and forced adoption of smart technology, ultimately it pushed the average homeowner to become the very tradesperson they can no longer afford to hire.